All right, hello everybody. My name is Troy Bullard, and today we're going to be discussing um, how to recognize diversity in the middle school age group. So I'm primarily focusing on sixth grade today, um, and in my hometown as well as in Georgia, the middle grades are defined as ages sixth through eighth grade. So that's what we're going to be talking about. There are a plethora of ways in which students can be diverse, and there are a plethora of ways as well in which we can address that diversity. So, in modern American education, we're a melting pot. Things such as language differences, differences in religion, different views on certain aspects, such as violence or politics, learning disabilities, things of that nature, put children in different spots as far as what can be taught and what can be learned in the classroom. They all provide different accommodations that teachers have to meet, and it is extremely prevalent in the modern classroom. One of the main challenges of being an educator is identifying and successfully working with the diverse group of students that we're given and providing an effective education to all of our students. So, we're focusing on the ELA group today. I've got two standards, they coincide with each other. And this is for sixth grade content area of ELA in Georgia. So, our first standard is determining the theme or central idea of a text and how it is conveyed in particular details and providing summaries of the text from a distinct personal opinion or judgment. And this pertains to literary works. This next standard will pertain to informational works. So, determine and identify the idea of a text through how it's conveyed through particular details, and then provide a summary of the text distinct from personal opinions or judgment. So this is more of an objective thing. So the informational text I chose, which coincides with the second standard, I chose a ReWorks assignment, which is a website that my school system uses primarily for science related articles. It's titled Studying Soil, Why is Dirt Important? And on the soil article, students are provoked by taking a look at a topic that is right beneath their feet. Um, they're also provoked by questions pertaining to why the things that are right under their feet matter. Maybe it's like taking a mundane thing and taking a deeper, closer look at it and understanding why that small thing that you might not even think about regularly is actually important. It also highlights the roles of soil experts, plant growths in specific soil, and roles that plants play in the ecosystem, be it with, food or weather related topics. So, this is a nice informational piece because it takes something that everybody knows, but not everybody really thinks about, and expands on it to explain why it's important and what things you can do with it. And the literary text that we chose, or that I chose, excuse me, is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. It's a classic young adult novel from the 1960s, written by S.E. Hinton. It's a read that contains minor adult themes that are prevalent to the youth, contains peer pressure, uses of tobacco and alcohol, gang-related violence, as well as loss and how to deal with death. These themes are presented in a way that are a little bit more palatable for a sixth grade age group, without placing too much emphasis on craft, but rather looking at the themes that are highlighted in the book. I personally read The Outsiders whenever I was in sixth grade, and I found it to be an extremely enjoyable book. We watched the movie to accompany with it, and I did cry. So, and then Dale from Purdue University highlights in her article that she wrote about it. She found the book faster paced and more engaging than the stuffier canonical works that we read. She's speaking from her high school experience, and that made it more enjoyable. She could grasp the themes easier without focusing on the writing style. And I think that's another thing that's important to focus on in this particular age group, where you're focusing on themes and then style, and then later on you'll be able to put themes and style together to make them work better. So, dissecting the themes of these particular works, skills of analysis are required. The student also might want to have prior knowledge on taking notes and specific vocabulary related to content, specifically for the Outsiders book, I know for sure. For that book, students might want resources for vocabulary pertaining to the 60s in Oklahoma, which is where the presumed setting is of the book, as well as some of the objects that the gangs use and some of the slang terms that they use. And then for the soil article, the students can use context clues. Perhaps there will be little headers on the side of the articles that would give them definitions to words they might not know. As a teacher, we all want to create an environment for the students that make them feel as though they're understood and cared about. One of the reasons that The Outsiders appeals so much to the 6th grade age group is the themes and characters like we discussed earlier. Characters are similar age groups from this book as to the children that we're teaching, or the content area that we're headed towards. And they have themes that might relate to them as well. I know it's sad that many students can relate to being under the influence of peer pressure and having drugs and alcohol present, as well as the presence of death around them. But it's a reality for students. And some students might find a little bit of comfort into reading about an experience that is similar to theirs, and they might be able to relate to it a little bit more. As well as maybe give them a new insider perspective on how they feel about those particular things if they're not worried about it already. And then pertaining to the Christian worldview, we want to make sure that all of our students are accepted and have their voices heard. By choosing texts such as The Outsiders or such as the informational article on soil that students can relate to, maybe not actively, but they can sympathize with it, or they can recognize something about the text that's familiar to them, it can impact the students' lives. And then we can use that to create an environment that encourages teachers and students to treat each other how they deserve to be treated, which is respect, and everyone gets a fair opportunity and is treated equally. Thank you, and hope you have a great day.